owns one of 2,000 food banks now in the UK, and they've teamed up with Sainsbury's and M&S to expand their distribution and reach more people across the country, and they're getting more help from local businesses. The charity itself also runs community allotments, coffee mornings, homeschooling facilities and family support services. And here to tell us more is River Network CEO Terry Eckersley. Terry.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Great to see you. Nice to see you in a nice, thick, warm coat there.
Yes.
I mean, we have got the heating on here.
It is warm in here, yeah.
Yeah, I actually come into work just to save my own energy bills, to be honest.
There you go.
I think
sense.
a lot of people are doing that these days, aren't they?
Yes.
I mean, joking aside, there is a real crisis we've got on our hands. If the figures were 26,000 in 2008, I mean, what on earth are they now?
Yes.
Phenomenal figures.
Yes.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, huge challenge for nearly everybody.
Yeah.
Most people are being hit by the energy crisis, by the cost of living crisis. You know, inflation's gone through the roof. I mean, we see it on our weekly shop. So it's hitting a lot of people hard, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, and we are, as you say, we're all seeing it.
Yeah.
And we're all, you know, I'm genuinely on about, you know, the fact that I'm coming into work. I'm glad I can switch my heating off and then just put it on when I get back home again.
100%.
Yeah. How did this all start then? What made you start this charity?
I've felt a strong need in the heart of Derbyshire, in Matlock and around Derbyshire, about 5 years ago, interestingly enough. And we started doing stuff in the community and helping and supporting and meeting strategic partners. But then, of course, when the lockdown hit, that's when we really went through the roof, i.e. supporting people, because we could do pastoral visits on doorsteps. We started the food bank then, and we pioneered a new innovative home delivery service. I call it a bit like Uber Eats or Just Eat, but for the marginalised, people who were challenged, who were struggling, and a lot were then in lockdown because they couldn't get out, and older people and marginalised families. But then, of course, we built our volunteer base, our staff base, and then we started, we funded it ourselves at first, but then, like you said, M&S jumped on board, Sainsbury's jumped on board. Just recently, P&D Services, Tansley did, and John Palin's at Tansley. And when we've just had another donation that we just put the check in last night. So it's built and grown according to need. And of course, you know, the lockdown brought great need, but then on the back of the lockdown, coming out of that, when everybody's relieved, and then boom, the energy crisis hits and the cost of living and inflation. So we do it a bit different than most other food banks, where you'll get referred or queue up. And I heard you joke a bit before about feeling a bit of guilt and shame about, you know, the football or should you go to the panto. Yeah. But people do feel stigmatised and guilt and shame about approaching food banks.
They certainly do.
So what we've done is destigmatised it, and we distribute from community hubs, and we do the home delivery service. So and people say, well, who'd you serve? Who'd you give to? Well, nowadays, most people, you know, we even serve our neighbours and other people, because everybody's feeling the sting of what's going on.
But this limit.
Yeah.
You know, you can't just keep finding food and giving it out. You've got to restrict it in some way, surely.
Yes, I think, and it's interesting because I've thought about that some food banks you can get referred 3 times. So 3 strikes and you're out. Now, we can be a bit more generous than that because we are getting good subsidies from the people I've mentioned. And I think then through building relationship and support, we then get people on, you know, helping them budget, manage the money better, taking personal responsibility. Did I just swear on air? Sorry, I said taking personal responsibility, and helping people with career, vocation, and helping people develop and flourish themselves, where then they become the answer to other people's solutions as well. A bit like the Salvation Army of old. You know, that's what they did. They went for the most deprived people and deprived communities, but met their needs, trained them, raised them up, and then they went into the deprived areas. So that's what we're a bit about, taking leadership and responsibility.
Yeah, because it is, I mean, it is... as you say, you've got to be really feeling at rock bottom to reach out anyway.
Yes.
To have to step over that guilt and shame. It's a hard hurdle to step over, isn't it, for people?
Yes.
So you know they do need, that the need is there if they're coming to you anyway.
Yes.
But it shouldn't, you can't, that's not an answer, is it? It's almost like it's a sticking plaster, a food bank, isn't it? To give
Yes.
them a bag of food or whatever. The education still has to be there, doesn't it?
The education and community. I mean, community was lost in those 2 years. Sense of community, purpose, being part of something bigger. So when we connect with people, we're building community with them and inviting them to community events and getting them on team and getting them qualified and trained, so then become part of the solution. And it sounds a cliche, but I like this. It's not a hand out, it's a hand up.
Ah, nice.
So we reach out to people and we help lift them up.
Yes.
We don't want them to stay where they are.
Yes.
And we do that through compassion and kindness, and it's working.
Love it. Well, we'll hear more about what you do in a moment on BBC Radio Derby. 2 on your Wednesday afternoon. So I'm in conversation with Terry Eckersley. He's the CEO of River Network. It's a food bank. It's got a community allotment, coffee mornings, homeschool. You tell me. Based in Matlock, tell me more. What do you do?
Based in Matlock, yes. Well, in the last year, we really, really grew because, again, coming out of lockdown stuff, the government funded the Kickstart project, or if you remember that, heard about it, for 18 to 21-year-olds who'd been unemployed for 6 months. So we employed 10 community development workers through that. And we did that in a very innovative way. Through the job centres, we did presentations en masse, not just one-on-one. They got 20, 30 people in. I'd share the vision, share the job, have a bit of banter, and then do a Q&A, and then we just recruit people on the spot. So other companies couldn't do that. They were stuck in the old way of doing things. So the Chamber of Commerce we were working with, they said, could you take any more, Terry? I said, yes. So we then employed another 10, then another 10, then another 10. So we grew to 80 all across Derbyshire. And these community development workers doing everything from outreach, support, the alternative education, youth events, youth nights, community nights, housing, supported housing, all kinds of stuff. And we got them writing funding bids, media, train them in media. We've got a TV and media studio ourselves at Cromford Mills.
Amazing.
There. So we do no end of things, lots of things.
Why you, Terry? Why? What is it in you that makes you do this? Because charity has been a big part. Working with charities is a big part of your life.
Yeah, I think there's something in me that I love people. Obviously, you've got to love people. Some people are in charity and they're a bit grumpy and cranky, and you think, well, why do that, or do something else. So I love people. And I think, part of my story is, without going too deep into it, born on a council estate, working class parents, dad died at 13, trouble at school, out of school, hurt, pain. And by the time I then got over that in my late 20s, and I started rising through the ranks in charity and working hard, taking responsibility, leadership, vision, realising that you can change your life and you can help change others and affirm them. That has just been the catch cry of my heart and my life, really. You see need, you want to reach out with compassion. But again, like you said before, you don't just want to give handouts, you want to give hands up. So then you can meet people where they're at, you can help pull out the skills, gifts and talents that they've got, because everybody's got those, coach them, mentor them, then you can change, and it says this, our strap line, and I believe it and I live it, you can change your life, a family, you can change your community. So that's what I'm into.
And there's a massive amount of reward, I guess, from doing that.
Yes, there is, but my wife likes the quote that I've given before is, the reward is the doing. Because if the reward was in the results that you see, you'd be up and down like a fiddler's elbow. Because not everybody comes through.
Yeah.
Not everybody's a success. Not everybody gets breakthrough or, gets healing, restoration, purpose, lives a big life, they don't do that immediately. It takes time with some people. So the reward has got to be in the doing. Now, of course, when you see people and they come back like 10 years later, you get a message, Terry, I'll never forget, and that book you gave me, and this, and I'm doing this now, and this is happening. And even the stuff that's happening with our existing team. We had a Christmas meal last night. It was a bit unique. We had it at IKEA. Can you believe that?
Okay.
Because my wife likes IKEA, and I shared that we'd been a couple of times last week because they do a Christmas meal there.
Yeah.
And my wife loves...
Oh, so it's not the meatballs then?
No, it's not the meatballs. No, they do a turkey meal there.
Do they?
Yeah, and I'm not sponsored by IKEA. So even the current team that we've got, and we're seeing people rise up in the gifts, skills and talents, it truly is amazing. And that is a reward, yeah.
Are you, you seem a very forward-thinking man, and you're not going to be what we're doing tomorrow. You're looking way ahead because you have to survive.
Yes.
But even so, looking ahead, it's bleak. Things are very bleak now, and looking ahead, there seems no end in sight. Does it seem a bit overwhelming?
No, not at all. It doesn't seem overwhelming to me because history has proven itself. And I'm here to bring good news at Christmas, peace on earth, joy to the world, that if you have got a heart for people, and if you've got a vision and you're innovative and you're a pioneer, things will always come through and things will change. So I'm very optimistic. And it's amazing. Some people call it the law of attraction or the power of vision or faith, that we've got a faith. We're a Christian charity that welcomes all faiths and none. But when you live like that, suddenly you start to see little miracles every day, almost every day. I think it's a miracle me coming into the BBC. I was very excited about it. I used to do a Thought for the Day show on BBC Radio Solent.
Yeah.
I'm BBC Radio trained by Jamie Lee Grace.
Really?
And Sainsbury's Foundation, 100%. So when the press release went out, then Alicia contacted me. I get very excited, and that's great. And we're speaking to many people today, and we're offering hope and encouragement. And we can offer food bank facilities and home delivery, and we can train people and encourage people and get them career ready, vocational ready. So I'm just very optimistic. I'm speaking at Cromford Mills at the Cromford Mills Centre in Matlock, and I'm speaking at the business meeting 7th of December, and I'm speaking on innovation to all business leaders. And if you think about when I just told you the story about the government funded 6-month, employment opportunities for young people. We seized the 10, we got it. That turned into 80. We've trained and developed all those people. And now we're doing some more stuff with Derbyshire County Council, children's services, young people excluded, verge of exclusion. They want to partner with us again now. We've got a state-of-the-art media studio. We've got various community halls that we use. So we're going to be doing stuff with them in the new year.
Brilliant.
And there's lots more stuff that I could talk about. So I'm just very encouraged and optimistic. And history proves itself. When there's the darkest of times, there's a few people who rise up with compassion and vision, and they see great breakthrough and change.
Brilliant. Well done, you. Terry, you're clearly a very inspiring chap, and great to meet you. And long may the work, sadly it's needed, continue. How do people find out more about you?
They can find us on www.rivernetworkcharity.org.uk. The other website is rivernetworkchurch.org.uk, and they can find us through all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or just Google us, River Network, Terry Eckersley. You'll find us.
Did he get that right? You kept looking at your wife then through the glass to just double check that you got it right.
Yes, I did look. She's smiling and laughing.
She's happy with that. You got it all right. Yes. Terry, well done you. Great to meet you. That's Terry Eckersley, who is the River Network CEO.